Hi! Welcome! I'm sleepy. If you like this video, subscribe. Click like. Smile at me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about basically the time that I got royally screwed at a GameStop. This really isn't much of a story, but don't trust every single GameStop. GameStop as a company has been great to me. I got a pre-owned Wii from them. I got a pre-owned Wii U from them. Both worked great. I've gotten multiple pre-owned games, most of which worked great. I've gotten controllers. Yeah. GameStop. I fully endorse GameStop as a company. But there is one GameStop, and it was a hole-in-the-wall GameStop in a mall, and I won't say the location of it just because I don't want you guys to know where I live if you don't know me. But I will say it was a very small hole-in-the-wall GameStop in a mall. If you're gonna go to a GameStop, go to a, standalone store, like a big GameStop, okay? The one I go to where I got my Wii and I get a lot of my games now. The one I go to now, because I stopped going to this GameStop, and I'll tell you why I stopped going to this GameStop. The GameStop I go to now, I don't think I've ever really had a negative experience there. Like every pre-owned game and everything I've gotten there has been fantastic. I went to a different GameStop, which was another hole in the wall, but it was a slightly nicer mall, to get my Wii U, and that one worked too. So I'm not really sure why I had the experiences I experienced, but I will say that this GameStop royally screwed me over. If this employee ever watches this video, I apologize in advance. I'm gonna get pretty mad here. Okay, let's just go into this video. Okay, so I wanted to play Splatoon. If you don't know what it is a Wii U game. There's Splatoon 2 on the Switch if you played that and not the first one. I think they're pretty similar. I don't have a Switch, but basically it's a multiplayer shooter where you try to ink as much turf as possible, and you use colored ink. You're a combination of a squid and a kid. You're this thing called Inkling, and you are on a team in an online battle, and you try to ink as much turf as possible. That's basically the concept of the game, okay? So, just for reference, new Wii U games were about $60 when they were new. Still are when they make them new, like at Walmart or whatever. Games are still $60. Used Wii U games at GameStop range anywhere from $15 to $50 to $40 or $50 in terms of a used Wii U game. I have an Elite Pro card for GameStop, which has totally been worth it. The Elite Pro membership. Totally worth it. Well, it's technically in my dad's name. My dad has an Elite Pro membership. But anyway, back on the topic of this GameStop. Again, this is a very small hole-in-the-wall GameStop, and I used to go to this one because it's near my movie theater, which is also not the highest quality movie theater for the record. You know, the seats aren't the most comfortable. It's kind of a small theater. It is a multiplex, but the whole area just feels kind of broken down, if that makes sense. Like, it used to be like a big shopping area. Like, there's still some like stuff everywhere. Like, there's PetSmart, there's Target, there's Aldi, and there's like the mall, but the mall is dying. Like, we lost Sears, we lost Macy's, of course we lost Toys R Us in the same plaza, so kind of not doing too well, that shopping district, if you know what I mean. So I mean, yeah, there's a Walmart, Staples, like, that plaza's doing a little bit better, but the one, like, where the malls and stuff, not too good. So, not the best movie theater out there, but it's close and it's cheap, okay? So, whenever we go see a movie, we usually go there to see a movie. So, I used to go to that GameStop because it was at the mall and it was right near the movie theater, so when I would be done watching movies, I would go to the GameStop after eating something. I would go to GameStop and buy a game or buy whatever. And at this time, I maybe had like 30 bucks or so. I didn't have a lot of money. Okay. So I walk into the GameStop, and again, this is a Tuesday night because, again, this theater that's really close, really cheap tickets. The only other theater that's remotely sort of close, I don't even like that theater. Like, it's just not, to me, that's not a great theater either. Like, the seats might be more comfortable. It's just not, like, even if it's a smart, it's just not the most, I'm not a big fan of that theater. I go there with my friends, but, the one I really like with the really nice seats and the really nice theater is pretty far away, so we don't go there much. We went there to see Ready Player One, but, because it was where it was showing. So, okay. I'm so sorry I'm yawning. So, my cinema. It's my cinema. It's Cinemark. So, on Tuesday afternoons, or I think all of Tuesday, actually, their tickets are $5. Like, all tickets are $5, okay? So we would get in, and I honestly don't remember what movie I was seeing. Maybe it was Solo, maybe it was Ocean's 8. I don't remember what movie I was seeing. I was seeing something, just fun and cheap, because $5 tickets. It was a Tuesday, and we usually would eat at Panera across the street afterwards. Like, Panera is our go-to place for, like, theory talking. Like, after we see a movie, like, after we saw Infinity War, we're, like, and we couldn't spoil anything, like, at Panera, we're, like, writing names down on napkins and stuff to be like, oh, is so-and-so dead? We would, like, write the name down on a napkin. So that actually happened. So, then we went to the mall, because I had some money, I wanted to go to GameStop, and, okay, so they have a shelf of video games. Keep in mind, Wii U games are not very popular, obviously. A lot of people don't have a Wii U, or just skipped a generation. Or whatever. So, a lot of these games had been sitting on the shelf for I don't know how long. These were pre-owned, used games on the shelf. Okay. And so, I went over there. So, I sort of had a second choice game, which I'm just now playing and just now getting into a little bit. I played it a bit when I got it, and then I've been playing it a bit again recently on my Wii U. So I sort of had a second choice game, which was Xenoblade X. I've never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game. I just started playing it. It's pretty good. So that was sort of my second choice. But my first choice for a game was Splatoon. And, you know, there were other things, like, oh, if they have a Kirby game, or if they have whatever. But I ended up going to Splatoon because it was really cheap, again. Games, I've seen them range anywhere from, like, $11, $12, like, with the Pro card, to like, $50. Like, something like Breath of the Wild is going to be, like, $50. Okay. So, oh yeah, and the other thing is that I actually got a copy of Nintendo Land once for, I believe it was $3 or something. But anyway, back on topic. This freaking game, okay. So I picked up a copy. It's Splatoon. And, okay, at this point I was under the impression, because they say the games are guaranteed, which, what that means... Okay, this pissed me off a bit. What that means is that they're guaranteed to work or your money back. What that means is, oh yeah, it may not work, but we'll give you your money back, which means you have to make an extra trip out here, whatever. It does not mean that they test all their games, which is complete BS in my opinion, although I do now see why they can't test all their games, because how the heck would the employees have time to do that? I was a naive little brat, and in my head, I thought, oh, that means they test all their games, don't they? And apparently they used to, but they don't anymore, and we'll get to that part of the story of it. So, I walk over to the employee at the counter. I don't even remember who it is. And, like, who the employee is. Okay. And I say, I want to buy this game. And he says, okay. And it's like $22, like $23 with the Pro card. It's not very expensive for a video game. Okay. So, and he's like, okay. And, you know, rings me up. Everything's normal. And I think I also bought, like a cheap Like, I bought something, like, I think it was, like, Force Unleashed or some, like, cheap Wii game that I played. I'm gonna have to play that on my Wii sometime. Because I played a little bit on my Wii U. I didn't know where to go. I was, like, lost in this one room. I didn't know where to go. Anyway, back on topic. So, it was, like, a $3 game. I mean, something like that is worth, like, buying for, like, $3. Like, it's not a good game, but it's, like, worth buying for $3. You get me wrong. It's not a bad game. It's just kind of a game to pass the time. Okay, so I bought that, and I think the most funny thing was realizing that Darth Vader could jump and he looked like Batman, but getting back on topic. Yeah, so I took the Splatoon game. I took it home. I'm like, oh, I finally get to play Splatoon. And I played it a little bit at my friend's house because they had a Wii U. And, okay, I put the game in. And I had this experience with, I think, Sonic Lost World, and I got another copy of that game, too, when I don't exactly remember when I bought that. I think I bought, like, 3 games. At the good GameStop, I bought, like, 3 games. I think it was, like, Hyrule Warriors, Sonic Lost... I haven't played Hyrule Warriors yet. I want to play it. Sonic Lost World, which I played a little bit, and, I forget what the other one was. But I bought, like, 3 games. Oh, I rebought Brawl. That's what it was. I bought, like, 3, which I'm playing right now. I got, like, 3 games at the good GameStop, and all 3 of them worked, which is just insane to me, because there have been times at the bad GameStop where I bought 1 game and it didn't work. So, going into this. Okay, so I'd had an experience with Sonic Lost World. I have another copy of it now. It works for the Wii U downstairs. I had an experience with the first copy I tried buying of that game, which basically what happened was it would update, like the system would update like normal, and the game would start, like you'd see the loading screen or whatever, and then it would say couldn't read the disc, and then I'd clean it, and same problem. And there have been games before, like even Zelda, like where I haven't been able to read the disc and just clean it, and it's good, like Breath of the Wild. And, like, that's the thing about, like, Wii discs seem super durable. Like, Wii games to me, I don't know about Wii U games. I feel like I've had more trouble with Wii U games, honestly, than Wii games. Wii games are super duper durable. Like, I had a copy of Skyward Sword, which I don't have anymore. That's the one other game I want to rebuy. I had a copy of Skyward Sword. And that game, funny story, was out of my friend's basement, and it looked like it had been destroyed, and it played fine, which, okay then. Getting back on topic. So, getting back to the Splatoon incident. Okay, so again, I went home with this game. And again, I said, usually games I'd had errors with, like I had an error with Mario Kart Wii where it was like having trouble, whatever. And like every time I'd had an error with a game at GameStop, they've been really nice. They always like refund. They don't refund me. They'll just give me another copy of the game. And if they don't have it, they'll give me store credit or whatever. Which is super great, and I love that and wonderful, whatever. Okay, but this was too far. So I put the disc in, and immediately, what it says is invalid disc. Now, I don't know about this, like, it doesn't load, there's no image, it doesn't say Splatoon, you can't start the game, it won't update, it won't do anything. Again, I've had plenty of discs that won't read, like, once you start up, once you update, like, that I've had scratches and stuff. But this, I just put it in, just invalid disc, would not read at all. Now, I don't know about this, but I feel like that's the same message you'd get if you put, like, if I put, like, a frickin' Blu-ray into my Wii U, that's probably the message I would get if I put an Xbox game into my Wii U. Like, invalid disc. Like, it doesn't even recognize it at all. Which, to me, I mean, that just signifies, okay, the disc is completely broken, and somehow GameStop oversaw this. Okay. So, at this point, I'm not getting my copy of Splatoon until, like, Friday, okay, because my dad's really busy. So I'm like, hey, girl, because I have a friend who's, like, older than me and drives and is cool and stuff. And I'm like, hey, you know you're coming over tomorrow, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, hey, can you take me to the mall? Because I have to, like, return this game. And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, you want to go to Hot Topic? Because she has, like, a gift card or whatever. So we went to Hot Topic, which was super awesome. I love going to Hot Topic. It was super fun. And then I go into the GameStop. I go to the employee, and I do remember who this guy was. I don't know his name, but, like, I remember the guy, okay? And he was, like, really nice, which was the other problem. And I don't remember if this guy was the manager or if the other guy was. I think he was the manager. I don't remember who this guy was. But anyway, I walked in, and I'm like, hi. Well, this game didn't work, so can you please exchange it for me? And he's like, sure. So then he looks at the disc, and it has these, like, I wouldn't call them holes, but, like, punctures. Like, they weren't even, it wasn't, like, scratches. It was, like, little, like, indentations on the disc, okay? How anybody, unless it was somebody's blind mother who just stuck a copy of Splatoon that her kid wasn't playing anymore, and little knowing it didn't work, and gave it to GameStop, which literally could happen, because apparently they get briefcases full of crap games. I don't know how someone overthought that. I think any responsible person should test the game before trading it in. That's my opinion. Alright, back on topic. I always test my games before trading them. I always erase save data. I do everything. I'm the nicest person when it comes to trading any game. Okay, back on topic. This guy, so he's like super nice. He's like, yeah, sure. And he's like, oh, that disc looks really bad. Like, he agreed with me. He's like, oh, it looks really bad. And then he's like, I can give you another one. And he has another copy of Splatoon. And he gives it to me. I'm like, okay, great. And the disc looks a lot better. Like, there's some mild scratches, whatever. It looks normal, okay? And I'm like, okay, great, you're wonderful. So I'm like, thank you so much. And he writes a little smiley face in the receipt. I'm with my friend. Okay, so my friend's like, oh yeah, we gotta go now. So then she drives me home. It's like 5 p.m. or something. She drives me home. And this is Wednesday. My dad usually has Bible study at 8, I think, or at 7. I can't remember. Okay, so I got out of the car. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try this little sucker. And I put the game in, which supposedly should have read better, okay? Because this one didn't have those indentations on it. This one was completely normal. I mean, they might have had a few mild scratches, but nothing that I had not seen on used Wii U games before. Okay, like, I'd seen this on Wii U games before. Okay, so walk in. So okay, before I get into this story, I just want to explain. I understand, occasionally you're going to get bad luck with a pre-owned game at GameStop, and I now understand this. Now that I know they don't test games, and now they don't, etc. And I've known this before anyway, because this had happened to me. So, in other words, I know this about GameStop, okay? That occasionally you're going to get a bad egg, you're going to get a bad game, that doesn't work, and usually you can just exchange it, and it's really awesome, and the customer service is really good. I don't know why people harp on GameStop employees. GameStop employees are awesome. It's Walmart employees that suck. You can watch my other story time about me purchasing a Wii U and, buy a Switch, Walmart guy. Okay. Yeah, that's a whole other story. There is a GameStop, that's a two-parter. There is a GameStop portion of that video as well. Those people were just clueless because they had just been hired for Black Friday. They weren't mean or anything. This guy was just like, buy a Switch. He's like somebody's grandpa, okay? Back on topic. Okay, so the Wii U game, Splatoon. So I put that other disc in, that second disc. The exact same error. Just invalid disc. Just completely invalid. And at this point, I'm like, well, does my Wii U have a vendetta against Splatoon, or what the heck is going on? I'm like, what? And then we're like, okay. So I got mad at that point. I'm like, GameStop royally screwed me over, okay? Then I call my dad on the phone. I'm like, you gotta come home right now. We gotta go to GameStop. I'm like, GameStop is trolling me so hard right now. And he's like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm like, this is just wrong. They say they're supposed to test their games. They don't test them, you know, all this weird crap. Like, I misunderstood. Okay. It's weird crap. Okay, I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm like, whatever. And then, the weirdest thing happens. My dad actually comes home, and he actually cancels Bible study for this. Oh my god. I'm like, why did you do that? He's like, well, we need groceries, and we need this, and we need that. And I'm like, okay, fine. So we went back to the mall right after my friend had dropped me off at my house from the mall. We had just been there. And this was Wednesday night. And we went back to my mall. I walked in. I said to this guy, hey. Okay, wait, no. Actually, I walked up. There was a girl there first at the counter. And I'm like, hey. So it wasn't the same employee. And I had 2 receipts from different copies of Splatoon. I had both receipts, I believe. So I walked in and I'm like, hey, this is going to be like a really weird... But I wasn't like... I was like pretty frustrated. I'm like, this is going to be like a really weird thing. And I'm like, hey, I have to exchange this or whatever. She's like, yeah. And then I'm like, hey, can I speak to your manager? And it's the same guy from earlier. I'm pretty sure it was the same guy from earlier. He's like, I'm a manager. And I'm like, oh, great. And then I'm like, hey, dude. I'm just kind of like, hey. So... you're supposed to test your games, and you don't, and I had the exact same error on this copy of Splatoon, and I'm so mad right now, basically. That's sort of what I said. And he said, well, unfortunately, we can't test all our games anymore. And now that I understand, like, I understand why. I hope they test consoles, but I don't know. So now we can't test all our games anymore. I'm really, really sorry. You know, whatever. He said, that's kind of weird. He said, that's kind of weird. Okay? And I'm like, yeah, that is kind of weird. That you told me that game disc didn't look good, and then you gave me another one that supposedly looked good, and did it whatever. And he's like, yeah, we always look at our discs before whatever, but we don't actually test them. I'm like, And then he's like, we don't have any more copies of Splatoon here. You can go to the GameStop across the street, or you can go to, and he names this other town, which is like half an hour away. I'm like, why would I go there? Yeah. Okay, so I'm like, you know what, that's okay. I'm kind of like, no, I'm not buying any more copies of Splatoon off you, sucker. Like, what the hell? So I'm like, okay, can you give me store credit, please? Oh yeah, by the way, the time Sonic Last World didn't work, I got store credit and I bought Kirby's Epic Yarn instead because that's what they had. Back on topic. But I was able to get Sonic Last World later from a good GameStop. But back on topic. This guy. So he's being really nice. He's like, yeah, you know, I used to work at a video store and sometimes there's like a bad batch of content and all that. I'm like, shouldn't somebody be checking for that? I'm like, how did this get oversaw by both GameStop and the people who traded the game in the first place? Like, what the heck? You think GameStop's just gonna magically fix your games? No, GameStop's gonna take your games and sell them. At this point, I'm not so mad at GameStop because obviously they don't have time to test every single game in their console. I'm mad at whoever lazy person decided to sell a game that didn't work to GameStop to get some cash off it. That's just scamming people right there. I test all my games before I trade them into GameStop. I test everything, okay? Yeah. It was pretty insane. So, he gives me store credit. I go over to the shelf. I pick up Xenoblade X. I go back to him. I say, hey, I'm gonna get this. He's like, okay. Let me give you store credit. Let me give you, because I got some back, because it was a slightly cheaper game. It was like $18 or something. And then I'm like, is something wrong with my Wii U? I'm like, what the heck is going on? He's like, yeah, if this one doesn't work, something's wrong with your Wii U. And I'm like, okay, great. I know my Wii U is working fine. That's the other thing. Like, I tested a game, like some random game in my Wii U that like I already had that I knew it worked, and it loaded fine. Like, everything was fine. Okay. So, this guy screwed me over so hard. So anyway. Then he's like, yeah, I used to work in a video store, and like, you know, this stuff happens. I'm like, okay, great. I'm just kind of like, whatever. So I walk out of the store. I got my Xenoblade X, not the game I even wanted to buy. Wait, okay, let me just explain it. Doesn't it seem kind of messed up that my third trip to GameStop, I came in with a game I didn't even want in the first place, or that wasn't my first choice of game in the first place, after trying twice to get, and yeah, he offered to have me go across the street and buy. I'm like, no, what is wrong with you, person? I'm also not buying any more copies of Splatoon off you, man. You're stupid. I mean, I didn't say any of this, but I'm just like so freaking mad at this point. Okay. So, we go home. The copy of Xenoblade works fine. The happy ending to this is my dad ordered a copy of Splatoon from Amazon for my birthday, and it worked fine. That's the happy ending of the story. The not happy ending of the story is that I came home with Xenoblade, everything was great, and then our car got totaled the next morning. And there's a story time about that one too. So, yeah. Crazy week. Also, I have not been back to a GameStop since. I've gone to that other GameStop, the good GameStop. I bought like 3 or 4 games, like a couple controllers and a Wii from them, and everything's worked great. So, I'm going to keep going to that GameStop, even though it's a little bit farther away. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe we should just start going to the movies there. I don't know, but anyway. I don't like that movie theater, but anyway. Yeah, so that was the story. It was not even that interesting. I just over-dramatized everything. So, if you want to hear, I have one more sort of not dramatic GameStop story. If you want to hear it, comment down below. It's not even that good of a story. Or I can just share, like, my weird gaming experiences about, like, my weird gaming experiences. If you want me to share, like, other minor car accident stories, I can do that, and, like, some other stuff. If you have any ideas for a story time, comment down below, please. If you want me to talk about anything, just let me know. That was a long video. Hope it uploads. Okay, guys, again, like and subscribe and comment if you've had a similar experience. Or a worse experience, because I hear GameStop is a bad company, which, to me, they all seem nice to me, so I don't even know at this point, but whatever. Out with my hair back and forth, 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 just with it. This would be real good. This would be real good.